Hello there. It's cold, but not freezing the way it has been for the last few days. I've just popped into a park near me because a few days I was down here. A few days ago I was down here and I spotted a signpost which I'd seen before but never really sort of stopped and read. And it got me thinking. There were people sitting quite close to this sign, which made me a little self-conscious about talking while I was trying to film. But fortunately, the other day I did film a little bit of this signpost, so I'm going to go and add that onto this right now. My way, your way, one way. Anyway, right way, other way, this way, that way. So it got me thinking about finding our way through life, really. So I'm going to continue this at home because there are so many people around. But yes, a cold winter Sunday, but sunny and lots of people out enjoying the sun and the blue skies. Okay, here we are much later in the day. I haven't really sort of thought through what I wanted to say, really. It's more like a sort of a stream of Anna's waffle. Um, but yeah, I was basically thinking we use terms that sort of relate to life as a journey a lot, don't we? You know, finding our way, going in the right direction, um, finding our path, various other things that I can't think of off the top of my head. And I just wondered, how many of us are people who really feel that either we need to find our way or we know our direction, we know what path we're on, we know what our goal is. I'm a real sort of meanderer. I never had a clear picture of anything that I wanted because my mind just goes, okay, right, I will do that. Oh, but if I do that, that means I can't do that. Or perhaps I'd rather do that or go there or do. I just, if I think of one thing, it's oh, it excludes everything else. And then half the time, or 90% of the time, I don't actually know what I want, where I want to go, what I want to be. Again, it's the sort of, because for me, nothing is ever black and white or, definite yes, definite no's, anything like that. I'm always sort of, several shades of greyish merging into every other colour you can think of. So I can never make up my mind about anything at all. And I just wondered, how many of us are like that. And it also occurred to me that actually, sort of thinking about where is life taking me, it is sort of one of those first world problems, isn't it? Because for an awful lot of people in the world, just surviving is all there is, all that they can focus on, all their energy goes on to that. So it's a luxury, really, isn't it, to be able to think about finding our way in life. Where are we going? What are we going to do? Which way are we heading off? Which direction are we heading off on? And there are a number of Indigenous people, I think, who see our purpose here simply to be, in the way that any other animal or any plant or any life form does. We are here just to be. And bottom line, that is it, isn't it? We're born, we grow up, we reproduce, procreate, I think I was going to say, reproduce or not, mature, and then we pass on, or whatever term you want to use. As a bottom line, that really is it, isn't it? And for some people, they do meander through life, don't they? A lot of people, actually, I think they don't really give much thought to where they're going in life. They don't think, do I have a purpose? Am I here for a reason? Am I going to make a difference? They just muddle through life, and yeah, they go through the education system, they go through the workforce, they may or may not have a partner, and may or may not have children, may or may not then go on to have grandchildren, and eventually just pass on. But other people, seem to, from an early age, seem to have a drive and a determination and a sort of to be on a mission. They know what they want to do. They're going to leave their mark on this planet. They are going to be something. And
Indeed, my train of thought went right off the rails there.
because I'm one of those people that get really into something and get heavily invested and buy all the stuff and do all the courses, and then been there, done that, got the t-shirt, what's next? And it doesn't take very long for that to happen. But I've always, what I suppose, yeah, my sort of focus is that I always thrive on change. I'm not someone who likes, the sort of steadiness and security and reassurance, or whatever it is, of same, knowing, knowing what's coming up, knowing that I'm in a place that I've always been and I'll always be. I'm the absolute opposite of that. I'm always wanting change. And I'll get really into something, if there's change happening, it's right now, okay, well, I'm going to start and get this done, blah, blah, blah. And I'm certainly like that with moving around and with traveling. So that's why I was thinking, because, how this is relevant to what my videos, my channel is sort of about. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that my sort of plan at the moment is possibly to move to Portugal, or possibly Sicily. I'm sure there are, other places will come up and grab my interest, as I'm sort of, doing my house sitting and pet sitting around the place, and something will come up and I'll think, oh, I hadn't thought about there. Let's investigate a bit. Let's find some YouTube channels, people who live there, see what it's like. But I do know that I do not want to be just staying where I am. Just can't do that. So at the moment, I've got a sort of a three-pronged approach, three paths, shall we say, three directions, my three possible ways. So I'm focusing on Portugal and thinking, do I actually want to move lock, stock and barrel? Do I want to sell up, move down there? That's it, done. Because if I move again, then probably, the financial implications of moving are quite big, apart from actually buying a property. And then there's a sort of, well, I could just focus on doing longish house sits, maybe, if I can get several weeks at a time, really enjoy a place, and then come back home and spend time with family, of course, because that, of course, is a big consideration. And then there's the middle path, which would be to rent out my property here rather than selling it, and then house sit as much as possible, both overseas and when I come back here. And then if I need to, if there aren't house sits available for a little gap, then do an Airbnb or something like that, or rent a property for a little while. So I've got not exactly, I suppose they are sort of like get out clauses if it doesn't quite work out, and also a sort of reassurance of that whole thing. Oh, am I doing the right thing? Because if I do move, then
what about if an opportunity to move somewhere else comes up, and I just can't afford to do it all over again. So it's again that sort of, oh, if I do this I can't do that, and I might want to do this and I might want to do that, and yeah, all that sort of stuff. Yes, renting my property out would be, say, a sort of a halfway option, because it gives me the freedom then to move around different places, and have that income from rental as well, which is something to consider. Yeah, that's sort of well worth having. But of course, I've rented property out before when I've been living elsewhere, and it does come with a lot of issues, and I'm not sure that I want that hassle. And then these sort of possibly house sitting and pet sitting in different places, but then in between coming back home. And then I have to think, how many years will I want to go on doing that? At which point would I be considered by people with pets too old to look after them? And and then, of course, then I'd be back to square one, wouldn't I? Anyway, so that's sort of basically a sort of uh, having thoughts that seeing that signpost made me think about, different ways of approaching things. As it says, my way, your way, the right way, the other way, that way, this way, or that. There are always alternatives, aren't there? There are always options. And I'm very much someone who will be constantly coming up with different options, because that's just my brain. I'll sort of think, oh right, this is it. And then my brain will start going, but, and then if you think about this, and then on the other hand, but also if you do that, that you get an idea of where my brain's coming from. So yeah, I'm curious and very interested to know what other people think. Are you like me? Is this sort of a thing that is always on your mind? Or are you someone who sort of goes, well, no, yeah, I'm content with life and got no desire to change anything really? And I feel quite envious of people like that, quite honestly. It's like, people who live in the town that they were born in and have grown up in. And if you saw one of my very early videos when I went back to London, trying to work out from piecing together information from the 1950s various censuses, censuses, I don't know, where I actually lived in the first few years of my life, because I didn't know, and I've moved around so much throughout my childhood, throughout all of my adult life. And yeah, there's a part of me that goes, oh, isn't that strange that there are people who have always lived in the same place? And then in the summer, I went over to Ireland with my daughters. And again, that's another one of my videos where I'm talking about and finding out where my mother lived, where she was born, where my grandparents lived, great grandparents, because again, I know nothing of my mother. And there's sort of like families, and Uncle so and so lives next door and he'll know about this, and Granddad lives 2 doors down and he'll know about that. People who've just lived there for generations and generations. And there's me who sort of flips about all over the place. I've lived in so many places, and people I know, sometimes it does amuse them. We're sort of going somewhere and talking about somewhere, and I go, oh, I used to live there, and yeah, I used to live there, and I nearly lived there, and then we moved there, and all these things. They find it hilarious, but to me that's just sort of my life. So I'd love to know your experience, your thoughts. So drop me a comment, and I'll get back to you and reply. And if you've got this far with my meandering about, then congratulations to you. Well done. Yeah, until the next time. Bye.